everyone. This is Genesis Prolo. I am here on the Student Spotlight series featuring Chris Jumper. How are you?
Good, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm glad we're able to scratch this off his bucket list.
Yeah. When I first came to Parker and kind of toured the campus, I remember seeing this room and being like, wow, it'd be really cool to kind of be in this room talking one day. I never knew it would actually come true. So thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Of course. I'm glad we can make that happen. So a little bit about Chris. He is currently a Tri-7th student in our Doctor of Chiropractic program. He was on the leadership committee that helped organize and plan for the ACA Student Leadership Conference that was executed this past September. Currently, he is the president of Parker University's Student American Chiropractic Association chapter. So amazing bio and very impressive for someone your age. So I'm really interested in just learning more about you. We'll dive into the chiropractic side of things and where you are with that in your journey, and also leadership, because you're really big on leadership.
Yeah, it was kind of something I just fell into during my journey here, but it's definitely been a huge growing opportunity throughout these past 2 years, and I hope to kind of continue that on.
Amazing. So going into that, what made you decide to be involved with SACA in that chapter?
Yeah, so like many students here at Parker, I was introduced to SACA through their Washington, D.C. It's called Engage. It's their yearly conference where they go to D.C. and we kind of advocate for chiropractic. Specifically, there's a bill involving expanding Medicare coverage through everything involving chiropractic, not just the adjustments. So that was just such a huge, and I went as a Tri-2, and it was such a pivotal moment for me in helping me to formulate my why chiropractic and kind of where I see myself, that I knew it was just something I had to get involved in during when I came back after that trip. And so I started off serving as their PR rep, their public relations rep. And then fast forward to the fall of that year, I heard about this opportunity to lead this national conference of SACA students all around the country. And I just saw it as such a great opportunity to form something bigger than myself, and to really challenge myself that and I had this great idea for the theme. So I just decided to go for it. And I was fortunate enough to have, Parker and a bunch of resources here, their backing. And then after that, I actually ran for president because I knew that if I was going to lead this on campus, I really wanted to help to form the club into what I think it really should be. And that is a place to help grow leaders on campus.
Amazing. You definitely are passionate about leadership. I can tell, and just from knowing you and seeing you around campus and being a leader. What made you so passionate about leadership? Where did that come from? Tell us about it.
Yeah. Kind of like I said, like, especially with SACA too, I don't think I actually ever sought out leadership on campus. It was something that I would just see an opportunity or I would see a gap, and I felt the need to kind of step in. I think I tend to have like a more idealistic mindset. I tend to see the world like as it should be, not as it is, which I think comes with like the propensity to want to enact positive change. But I would say that the passion itself really stems from this this desire to want to help lead my patients in the future, right? And I knew that I needed to grow those skills. I needed to build those skills so that in the future I can help to further lead and guide my patients through care.
Wow, that's amazing. It definitely sounds like you believe it's something bigger than you and you want to be a part of that positive impact and helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that leadership conference was kind of a culmination of it all, and seeing it all come together, and having this vision and creating it and creating something bigger than yourself. I was kind of very pleased with the entire experience and just very happy that everyone was so resonated with it very well.
And then what's your advice for students that want to step into leadership? How can they do that?
Yeah, I would say that a lot of people think of leadership as something you either have or you don't. And I don't agree with that. I think that leadership is a skill like any other skill. It just needs to be practiced and nourished. And so the opportunities are there on campus, and you just kind of have to be willing and open to accept them as they come. I would say SACA is a great place to start. We are very open and willing to helping people find their why and their place on campus, whether that's with us or not. I hope it is in some regard. And then I would say, even if you don't see the opportunities, my advice would be to build it, and they will come. I think that if you have that willingness and that passion to build something, that Parker will provide the guidance and the resources to do so. I know students that have started their own clubs on campus because they saw a gap that they needed to fill.
Amazing. No, it definitely is a great chapter. So if you're on campus and you're a student, please talk to Chris if you see him. It's an amazing, amazing organization to be a part of and develop your leadership skills. So something I've been hearing you say is your why, right? Let's dive into that. What is your why for chiropractic?
I think that, well, chiropractic, it was a second career for me. And it was a multifaceted. There were a lot of kind of parts that played into that decision. But the why that I always kept going back to when I was kind of making this decision of, if not this other career, then what, was what I called at the time good work, which simply just means I wanted to do something that utilized the best of my body and my mind. And I wanted to have a positive influence on people's day, no matter how big or how small that was. And then I just happened to be reintroduced to chiropractic during that time. My grandfather was a chiropractor, so I was introduced at an early time. But the chiropractor I was seeing at the time kind of planted that seed of, have you ever thought about chiropractic? And I hadn't. And then I did the whole deep dive, and I found that it really kind of fit the mold of what I was looking for. And so I slowly built up that confidence. And then I remember one day I just kind of woke up and I was like, I'm going to do this. And I started that journey. I took that leap, and here we are.
That's amazing. I'm glad to hear it. And I'm glad you chose it, because it sounds like it's a perfect fit for you. Specifically, why did you choose Parker's chiropractic program?
Yeah. So I had to, once I made the decision, I had about a year of prerequisites because it was such a major career shift for me. So I had to go back, take some science classes. And so I had a lot of time to sort of finalize this decision in my mind, firstly, and then also to look into a lot of schools around the country. So it wasn't an easy decision. I had to move halfway across the country to come here, which I did in undergrad. Again, I'm from New York. But I liked the idea of being in the city. So I think that's initially what drew me here. And then I came to Parker Power Weekend, which is their orientation or kind of a new student event day. And I really saw sort of the innovation that was going on at the school, and sort of this evolution that was happening. The South Building was just opening. Students were just returning back to in-person learning after the pandemic. And I would love to say that I made my decision then and there, but that's just not how I operate. But when I went home, it kept kind of coming back into my mind that if I really applied myself, truly applied myself, and I worked my butt off here, that Parker would provide the guidance and the resources that I needed to truly excel. And so that was what ultimately drove my decision to pick Parker.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's amazing to hear that. So in terms of resources, what resources do you think Parker has provided you with in terms of your chiropractic journey?
Yeah, I think that if you put in that effort to kind of go above and beyond, Parker will see that, and they will provide if you ask for it, right? And so Leadership Conference was just a huge, I have nothing but gratitude for the advisors here, the administration here, for kind of lending their support in that, as well as the ACA support, right? Because it really allowed me to create a conference and work on that vision as the director, and have less focus on logistics, right? Because Parker was kind of able to handle a lot of that because they do all the seminars, right? It's kind of their bread and butter. And so that really helped me to fine tune my vision for the conference and create the content or the context that I wanted to, that really helped encapsulate the vision that I was trying to push and the story around the theme. if that makes sense.
It does. It does. And it sounds like the resources that Parker provided helped you get where you are today in your journey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that on top of kind of all this stuff with the leadership conference, the faculty are very open. I think that having a larger student body can. I think I saw it initially as a disadvantage, but now I've grown to kind of see it as an advantage because you gain all those different experiences, you gain those different perspectives. And so I've learned just as much from the value of what I've learned from my friends and from those faculty outside of class. I hold to just as much value as to the actual curriculum. I think that it's kind of shaped and grown me as a person and as a chiropractor.
That's wonderful. And talking about value, to piggyback on seminars that you brought up, just overall, what has your experience been with Parker seminars, and why would you recommend other people should join it too?
I don't think any other school does does a seminar like Parker. And it was so, when I was forming the leadership conference, I didn't have the chance to go to a SACA leadership conference, but I'd been to a Parker seminar. And so I knew kind of the caliper that I was expected to hold, and what the school was willing to kind of put in. So that was a huge experience for me. I think that going to Parker seminars, it's similar to like any other conference. It's sort of like a retreat away from your books and school, and you get to kind of see, especially as a student, you get to see what like real world clinical application looks like. Whether you're and you can kind of get what you get out of it, because there are so many options available to you during those workshop times. So if you want to focus on, the art and the craft of adjusting, there's plenty to do there. If you want to work on more of your clinical mindset, which was what I focused on this last time in Dallas, going into clinic, I really wanted to make sure that I was like building up some of those skills. I think that it can help fill in the gaps of your education. And then if you are, going for your continuing studies education, you can really utilize it have as you need and as you see fit because of all the options available to you.
A lot of resources definitely at the seminars for sure. They're endless, which is great.
And why it's a party. It's a party.
There you go. With the after parties too. Those are great. We have some good after parties. But overall it is a party. Networking opportunities and a lot of fun. The last seminar we had, you actually got to ask Mr. Kevin O'Leary himself a question. So I want to dive into that. How was that? How did that feel being able to ask Kevin O'Leary a question?
Yeah, I think I tend to just like as people talk, I tend to think of good questions as just kind of a skill that I've developed. And so he was talking a lot. I think my question was about social media, and the idea for the question came from kind of some of my ideas from the conference, and that is like the current status of chiropractic and social media. And so I kind of asked him to elaborate on his opinion and take on what the current status is. I think that, like I never would have imagined that I would have the chance to ask Kevin O'Leary a question. Like it's like something you just don't even think about until the moment happens. And so your heart is kind of racing as you're asking the question. But he was, he was a very, I think he kind of puts on a persona maybe on the show. And so like you could see the softer side of him on stage, which was a very cool experience to get that, like that real person.
Yes, definitely a memorable experience you won't forget. In terms of just leaving a message with our audience, what is that one message you want to leave with them today?
I would say if you're a student, especially if you're a new student, regardless, because I think I had a very superficial understanding of what the chiropractic field was before coming to school. But I'd say regardless of whether you're coming in with that superficial understanding or you came in with this, idea of this is the chiropractor I want to be. Regardless of that experience, I would say be open to, it's okay to not know exactly what you're doing. It's okay to change your mind. But take advantage of your time here as a student. It's going to go quicker than you think. And learn from each other, be willing to challenge each other, and be willing to be challenged. I would say that's my biggest advice, because that's, we're never going to be, or we probably won't be, in as close proximity with other chiropractors and future chiropractors ever again in our life. And so I think it's just incredibly crucial to take advantage of this time to learn from each other as practitioners and as future clinicians.
Great advice. Love it. Well, thank you, Chris, for being on today's episode. So of course, it's been a pleasure having this conversation. Yet again, this is Genesis Perlo on today's Student Spotlight series. Till the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.